All right, welcome back to the channel. We're going to try to get into this quick because my wife's sitting out here and she's asking women questions. What do you think women want most? And of course, I give the man answer, money. Right? So I need to get in this video to stop those questions because they're getting deep. So we're going to be talking, this is my Boker collection. I think it's most of them, if not all of them. And just a fun video. I'm going to go through it. Looking at what I got. We may talk a little bit about the history, but it's not a history video. I may share some of that stuff. Maybe some collecting information will come out in the video. So I hope you all enjoy your Thanksgiving weekend by watching my video. Shameless plug. Shameless plug. Okay, so I'll see you in the video. All right, welcome back to the Fortified Castle. Hi to all my minions, my fantastic, wonderful viewers. I appreciate you so much. I have got the best viewers in the world, and I really appreciate y'all. So, why did I do this? I haven't shown my Bokers in a while. I don't really have a new one to show you. I'll show you what I got. Maybe you have not seen some of these. Talk about them a little bit. But I was thinking about my Boker collection. I hadn't showed it in a while. So, one of the things that occurred to me is Boker is kind of unique in that it's kind of a dual company, and that's really unique. You don't see that very often. And you know what I mean by that? Well, Boker started in Germany in 1869 making pocket knives. The brothers, one came to America, one went to Mexico, and Boker Germany was producing these knives, for the North American knife market. And then when the tariffs came on in 1890, they went ahead and started making knives in the United States. So that's not too unusual. There's a few other companies that have done that. But most of those other companies quit making knives overseas when they started making them in the U.S. Boker, founded Boker USA, was making knives in the U.S. for 70 years, and they were still making them in Germany also. So that's what I mean by a dual company. I can't really think of any examples that carried on that duality for so long. And of course, Boker makes knives in a bunch of different places today. But let's get into these knives. I'll show them, talk about them a little bit, and it should be a fun ride. So as I look at these and show you these, I didn't, get into my books and write down and memorize all the dates on these knives. So I know generally what they are. Here you have, let's look at this tank stamp here. This is an old one. H. Boker and Company's Improved Cutlery. So these were produced from 1880 all the way up into 1930. And this is one of the few tank stamps that both Boker companies continue to use. So anytime you see approved on a knife, it was usually made in around the 1890s, 1910, that time frame. This one actually can stretch back a little further. This is my oldest Boker, very plain knife. It's a lobster, so you got a blade that pops out here. Both blades are marked. Great old natural bone on this knife. The springs are a little weak inside there. That's okay because it's just an old piece of history. Um, you may have seen this before. This is an awesome Barlow. When you look at this, would you say this is a Boker knife? Yeah, because of the tree, right? That's a tree marking. Hexagonal fancy bolster on this knife. Everything in here is genuine. Knife probably dates back to 1915. It's an early Valley Forge knife, so it's hard to see. I wonder if the other one has. Let me see if the other one shows better the tang stamp on it. Yeah, you can see the Valley Forge USA. Notice the Newark. Okay, so they were making these in Newark, and they moved to Maplewood in 1921. So you can date this no later than 1921 because it was made in Newark. But this is just a really cool old Boker knife. They took control of Valley Forge around 1911. So I would date this between 1911 and 1921. And as I uh, moved through these knives, I've separated them. This line right here is Boker USA knives, and everything over here. Well, I can't say everything. Almost everything over here. Yeah, everything over here is Solingen. So these are my Boker USA's. These are my Solingen brand. Next up is this really nice jack here. This is a bridge cutlery knife. Bridge Cutlery was a side brand of Shipley Hardware Company. All it says on here is Bridge. Once again, maybe the little blade is better. Yeah, you can see that a little better. So it's you can see the Bridge Cutlery St. Louis. So no markings for Shipley. Shipley was located in St. Louis, and they didn't make knives. So this was made by somebody else. I think this is a Boker knife that was made for them. Um, this is a really nice equal end jack. Look at that. Really nice. Genuine bone. Let's see what the tank stamp says on this. This is just a single Boker. I think that was made between 1938 and 1941. I might be mistaken about that. I'll put it up in the up there in the editing. What the date on that is. This is another really nice bone peanut. Look at that bone on there. Boker actually made bone handles a little bit missing it. A little bit longer than most. This is the most common stamp, Boker USA, and that I believe that ran till from 1931 all the way up to when Boker USA stopped in 1976. Here's a really nice equal end jack. This is Delrin, and just great jigging on their Delrin. I mean, Germany did a really good job on their Delrin. And that's the Boker USA stamp on it. You can see this. That's the model number right there. I think it's a 8023, if I'm not mistaken. But probably around 1964 on that. This is one of their utility knives. See the old silver Boker, no Solingen underneath there. And once again, you see the Boker USA stamp. And I'll put the dates up here for these stamps so you know. But this thing's a little rough. It's not horrible, but you can see it's kind of halting and how it moves. And this is a later model. So you know, typically Delrin came out in the 60, 64. So this would date, I think this model dates to, I think it dates to the 60s. So you can see that. Let's see. It's a 9361. 9361. And here is, this was made by a Boker. This is a really cheaply made Boker. And the springs don't have a lot of spring left to them. It was the work here. I finished this right here to smooth it out, but it was just real horrible looking. The bolsters, really bad job. I think this knife was a Cooper knife. So in 1974, they sold out. They were first sold to J. Weiss and Company, and then J. Weiss and Company sold them to Cooper. I think this is a Cooper knife, and that's John Trimble. So this was Belknap hardware knife. This was made for Belknap hardware. This kind of this has a shield which is missing. It said Old Stag, and it looked like this shield right here, but it said Old Stag, and you can see Boker has used the shield on a tree brand out of Solingen. But I always wanted one of these. I think they look kind of cool, but just a really poor example. Kind of disappointing. So let's look at the Solingen ones. All right, before I move on to these pocket knives, I'm going to show this. I have a video on this knife here. This is a Alvarito brand. So this was made in Argentina. It's a little hunting knife. Let me zoom in on this. Beautiful etch here. Look at that cool etch. And very fortunate. One of the subscribers, Mike Anderson, traded me this knife for another knife. You can see right there. Solingen, Germany. Aluminium. Actually, okay, I take that back. So this is made in Solingen, Germany. But just a wonderful bird and trout knife. That genuine stag on that. Haven't messed with it, tried to recolor it or anything. Just an old stag. And I forget when I dated this to. It's 70s, I think. Could be 80s, but I forget how I dated this. But just a cool knife. Really nice green sheath. And I like this little tab. This is a great idea for you guys who make sheaths. But anyhow, so this is a little serpentine Stockman, little tiny thing, and that's a Boker Solingen. There's the tank stamp. Nice little knife. I like this black. Look at the jigging on that. Just black Delrin. And here is a half Congress knife. Look at the rat tail bolster right there. It's fluted. Really nice. In that black. And a cool shield right there. Half Congress, of course, only has 2 blades. And I want to show you something. This is a Moore & Hadley knife. It was a hardware store in Alabama, and This is a um, half Congress, but look at the rat tail bolsters. Look at the blades, and look at the blades on this. So they're nearly identical. This is just a hair bigger. This knife, just a hair bigger. And I think this was made for Moore and Hadley by Boker USA. But this is a really nice knife, good action, well-made knife. And I can't think of anybody else who did this, but Boker. Boker did that. So I'm pretty sure it was a Boker, and Moore and Hadley sold Boker knives. So here's a nice sleeve board penknife. This old Solingen stamp. This stayed pretty consistent. So this Boker Solingen Germany was a consistent stamp all the way up through the 90s, I think. Maybe even into 2000. Oh, there you go. Look at that jigging. Just really aggressive German jigging. Looks cool. This is 70s. This knife dates to 74, actually. Here is just a fantastic Warncliffe Whittler in rosewood. This is a 78. This was a special knife. You see the gold Solingen shield on it. And if you look close, you can still see the tree brand etch on there. Comes out, there you go. Comes out pretty good, really. It's a tree brand classic. And that serves the date the knife. They made this classic in this model with rosewood in 76 and 1988 is when they made them. This is, if I get rid of my Boker collection, this would be one of the ones that I keep right here. Really nice knife. All right, moving on. You get their big Stockman right here. Again, a nice knife made in Solingen. So Solingen knives are generally made better than Boker USA knives, but some of the Boker USA knives are pretty nice. This one right here was really well made. This is well made. The earlier ones for sure. This one was well made. Once you get into the 60s and 70s, they're not as good as the Solingen knives. Sometimes you can't see these tang stamps. One way you can tell the shield, of course, this says Solingen, but also the etching on these. Boker Solingen etched all their knives, so there's some kind of etching on their knife, and the etching is heavier and easier to read than a Boker USA etching. So that's one way, if the tang stamp's gone, that you can identify it. I picked this up at a knife show, traded it for another knife. Actually, I got two knives in trade for the other knife, and these are pretty expensive. But the trade I did was only for $70, so I did good on it. This is a 2020 model, not the year. That's the model number is 2020. These are fantastic knives. They were came out, so they had another folder to compete with the case and every other folding hunter. But in 1974, they redesigned their folder, and this is the design. This has been so popular. This knife is still sold without any modification to the knife. So really popular model for Boker. And these older Solingen ones are just fantastic. Look at the marbling. This is original bone. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful, beautiful bone on this knife. Of course, it's going to be darker on this side because if you're a right-handed person, that's where you're going to put all the oil. So that's common. You can see the brown though. So pretty nice knife. So these are Boker USA knives. Boker United Boker. And so when Boker sold out, United Cutlery conspired with Boker to produce knives for them. And so for a long time, these were ignored in the collector market. The values are going up on these now, but you can still get them for a pretty good price. And Boker made these knives, right? Boker Solingen. So these are Solingen made knives. They're really as good as any Solingen knife, and they cost like $100 less than a Boker Solingen knife. So just a great way to pick up a Boker knife, a high quality Boker knife. The only thing is the moniker is going to say Boker United, but it is a Boker knife. Kind of the same of picking up, a Boker knife that's a contract knife that was made for somebody else. Got a nice tobacco jack. This is a nice knife. And these are the same knives, right? Same model. Big difference in quality in these two knives, though. This is one my wife got me for my birthday. It's a tree brand. That's the new Boker stamp, just a simple stamp on there. And I believe this is a plus model. High carbon stainless steel. That's all that's on this. This is China made, but pretty good quality on this. You see the Germany. Notice it doesn't say Solingen. So it's you can't put Solingen on a knife made in Germany unless it's actually made in Solingen. So when you see a Boker knife and it has Germany but not Solingen on it, it's not made in Germany. Now some of those, the parts are made elsewhere and they put them together in Germany, is how they get away with that. But they still can't put Solingen on there because it wasn't actually made. It's just assembled in Germany. So that's one way when you're collecting these, you can tell a Solingen knife is always going to say Solingen on it. So this is a fantastic Boker Barlow. Look at that. And this is a club knife. This is genuine stag. I can't believe I got this knife. It is really nice, good action. You can see it was made for the Wheeler Basin Club in 2008. Only 50 of these made, one of 50. And there's your Boker Solingen, Germany. So this is a Germany-made knife, and I got this thing for a steal. So, this is the last Boker I bought. Always wanted to get one of these. It's a pretty good knife, right? Pretty well made. This is one of their modern interpretations. These are machined like a lot of the Chinese knives are. This is 01 tool steel, so you have an upgraded steel in this knife. Really nice stonewash finish. Look at that finish. I mean, it is awesome. Beautiful job done. Copper. This is it's one piece. So the liner and the bolsters are one piece. I forgot the name on it. And then you have this burlap micarta. Beautiful knife. And again, I got this for a good deal from Smoky Mountain Knife Works. I waited till those Boker knives went on sale and bought it for $75. Normally they go for like $140. I think they're going for more now. This is just a Boker ranch style knife. This is part of their Magnum series. Just 440A here. Nice little knife. I'm going to make this my kitchen knife, by the way. Decided that when I made this video. And you can see the Magnum on there. So what does that mean? So basically Boker has 4 lines of knives. The Magnum knives are made in China and they're really cheap. Some of them may even be made in Pakistan. Boker has been making, or Germany has been making knives in Pakistan for a long time, since the turn of the 20th century. So I think most of them are made in China though. And this is the inexpensive knife brand that Boker offers. And then you get tree brand knives. And those are knives like this that just have tree brand. The tree brand is basically made for an American market. And oftentimes you'll see this Boker symbol here on those. And these knives are made in China. Some are made in Taiwan. But they're a step up from the Magnum. This is a pretty good knife right here. Next up, you have the Boker brand. So it's just Boker, Solingen, Germany. And these are the ones that are actually assembled and made in Germany. And they're the ones you're paying $250 up for, right? They're the expensive ones. And then they have a model, the Albarillo model, which is tree in Spanish. Those are made in Argentina. Those are high quality hunting knives that they make. And I don't think they make any pocket knives in Argentina, but so that's the 4 different kind of brands and how they break down. Now the Plus brand that I mentioned, those Plus knives can be made in Spain, they can be made in Germany, they can be made in China, they can be made in Taiwan, Italy. So the Plus brand is one up from the Tree brand. They're a little more expensive, supposed to be a little better made than just the normal Tree brand made in China. And you will see different stamps on them from different countries. So that's Boker. That's all my Boker collection. I'm going to get rid of most of these knives. I'll probably keep this one. I may keep that one right there. This is just a beautiful knife. I don't think I showed this knife. But this is another Valley Forge knife right here. That dates back before 1921. Just a beautiful little slim jack. And what a great knife this is. Beautiful bone. I'll keep this one. I may keep this. I may get rid of it. I don't know. I'll keep this one. And of course the one that my wife got me I'll keep. I don't know whether I'll keep that or not. Maybe. All the other ones I'm going to get rid of. Alright. We'll see you in the next video. Hope you're enjoying your holidays. I hope you have a great week. A lot of snowy weather. You know, stay safe, stay warm.